Well, it's been a minute since I have actually videoed anything. You can kind of see behind me there's quite a bit that I've done. I just made a decision because we're getting close to winter and I've really got to get this thing dried in. I was kind of held up by various things, and so I've done a ton of work and I didn't film it. Most of it was pretty repetitive and boring, so I'm going to give you an update on what I've done so far and kind of little details about it. And some of it you'll see later on because I don't have that part of the house going yet. So I'm probably going to do that. But I've got to get this, especially this floor, dried in, covered because it's been rained on. It's at its limit, And so I've got to that point. I've got decking on. You can see house wrap or tar paper and some other stuff. But let me show you all the things that I've done that I have not filmed right now. I think I referenced this before, but I went and got the roof, standing seam roof for a porch, and it's all brand new, not used, but it's just been sitting and gotten dirty. So that'll go on the front porch and the back of the house. And then I stained, let me see here, trying to get a good shot of it. It's hard to tell what the color is, but I stained all this front steps. It's kind of a taupey color, but did all that. I sheeted the house with OSB, and then I put on tar paper, and then I'm going to show you this right here. Here's my I'm just showing you a little bit inside because it's hard to see, gives the picture roof, but I put OSB, 7/16 OSB on the roof decking. And I used the little H clips, even though you don't have to on 16-inch centers, but I like using them anyway to keep your spacing and whatever. So anyway, I got all that. I haven't tar papered it and stuff yet. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm just that close to having this thing dried in, except for, the side of the house that's completely wide open because I don't have I've got to build more beyond what you're seeing there in the woods. And so I'm probably going to put a sheet of plastic or two over that and just go from there. Hard for me to show you, but here is the gable vent. I also stained it, put some screen over the end of it. And this side of it is, pretty well ready to go. So right now I'm working on doing everything for the rafter tails, and this looks stinking awesome. I think I love it. I've decided I'm going to paint it. I might regret that later, but it'll go. Let me get my finger in the shot. This right here, this is the porch. It's stained, and then from there over, it'll be painted. So what I've done is I took some 2x4s and I put them up and kind of figured out. It's hard to tell. I don't think you can really see it, but I put them up there. You see the blue edge of the OSB. Got kind of a little bit bigger gap there than I wanted, but I'm going to push flashing and stuff like that anyway. And cut in, you see the gap? I cut in I used a dado blade. I'm going to show you that right now. I did this side just so I'd know what I was doing before I put the camera on and showed you what I'm doing. But in essence, it'll be other boards that'll go in there and just fill it in, and I'll caulk it, make it look all the same. But I'm not going to do any sort of overhang on the eaves or on the gable end. It'll be kind of like those Nantucket houses or whatever. A lot of modern farmhouse stuff I've seen do that too, and honestly, I freaking hate doing soffit work. And so it's still quite a bit of work, but I love the look of that. What'll end up is it'll have drip edge, it comes over the end there, and it'll all be painted white, and then the shingles will go up above that. I'm still kind of having a hard time. I got to figure out how it's going to interact with the metal roof. So this is kind of what that'll look like. It's a little dirty right now, but I've got all this stained, and my metal sheeting will be up there. So anyway, I'm going to set you up right now so you can see the process of making this setup out of 2x4s. So I got all these 2x4s for free And they're pretty rough, but I mainly just don't want to get any of that kind of stuff in my planer here, you know. But what I did is I went up there and gauged it so that I made a mark kind of, these are just almost that width. I've only taken off like 4 passes, 2 on each side or something to get them the same width that I need for the roofing, like the OSB. And so I'm going to run through the planer, and then I've got a dado blade set up that's cutting out a little bit. So we've got sort of a shiplap kind of situation. That way, when you put these together, there'll be a little bit of a gap. I'm using a cap nail to kind of space them out 1/8 of an inch or so, because they'll expand and contract. And I definitely don't want to see any sort of underlayment above that. So that's my process. I'm going to run them through here. I'm going to measure how long they need to be first. I'm going to cut all the bad stuff off, check them for nails, run them through the planer, and then use this situation here to create that shiplap effect. So I'll set you up and you see me do that right now. I'm going to show you how I flash windows, and this will be way different than normal, because usually new construction you have windows that have a flange all the way around and you nail it in. These windows that I have are used, and I'm pretty sure they were replacement windows, either that or somebody cut the flange off of them to get them out. So this is not the normal thing, but I liked these windows, the price is right, yada yada. And so I'm just going to show you, in essence, what I'm doing is trying to create a waterproof pan. That's kind of the most important thing when you're doing this. And so I'll show you how to do it. I've got some 4-inch zip tape, which sticks to felt paper. I don't know why I can't remember that today. Pretty good. This sticks to felt paper better than like the house wrap tape and stuff. So that's what I'm going to use. We'll see how this goes. I might run out of space on my camera, but I'm setting up to do the siding on this side right now. And so what I've got these sheets of smart board. They're 4x8. We're gonna do board and batten. What I've done is nail a little ridge, nail a little thing I can stick the boards on right there. And then we snapped the line. You can't really see it, but we went up 8 feet from where I want to go, made sure it was level, and snapped the line. And so I just set in these little stops right here and right there. Sorry if the audio's bad. I'm just trying to get this out. And I put 2 nails in it, checking my lines, and then also checking to make sure can't see it, but it's level. You want to make sure when you're doing this, there's a few things. Oh, the compressor just kicked on, great. You want to make sure that first sheet is level, and take your time to make sure it is, and then you got to give it a little bit of a gap with these. Not much, because this stuff is supposed to be pretty solid, and it's primed in different glue, I guess, than OSB. But that's what I've got going on. I think I'm gonna set this up on a tripod and just time lapse it and see what we do. That's what we ended up with. I need to go and nail that off. It's looking proud, but it turned out pretty good. My little ledge, I kind of had to back the screws in and out to get it how I wanted. Maintain our gap, pretty good gap. I'm happy with it. So we'll put all this on, and I think I'm gonna put my battens on a 1-inch spacing, or excuse me, 1 foot, 1 inch. That's hilarious. 1 foot spacing. This is a 16-foot in. I'll probably start in the middle. It's pretty close. It's within half an inch or so. I might have to cheat it just a little bit, but we'll figure it out. Make it look good. I forgot to put that piece of paper up there. We'll do that before we get going. But we're just gonna carry on. These are kind of the harder parts in terms of cutting, but easier in terms of they're just lighter. So we're gonna put Z-strip over this to shed water, and you'll see that in a minute. Well, it's another day, and actually lots of days have passed, but I'm working on finishing up the siding, and so I was just going to set you up and show you that. In essence, I've got, well, let me just show you. I've got board and batten going up and some trim at the top. Let me show you that right now. So I've put up just a little bit of the trim parts and what will be on the same level as the battens, but I've done half of it. I'm going to do the other board, trim out around that vent, etc., do my corners, whatnot. But let me show you what the other side looks like. I've finished out most of the window trim, and these windows are super dirty. I need to clean them up. They're looking really bad. But I've added a little drip edge sort of detail here. It's on a little bit of an angle, just ever so slightly, to shed water. I've gone in, let me find a good spot. Sun's kind of in the way, but I put this trim up, and what I did is I just nailed it below temporarily and then scribed all the, it was really tedious, as you can tell. And so now I'm gonna show you what a finished section looks like. So here's the back of the house, and I've got this window trimmed up, and I haven't done above. I forgot to do that. I actually just noticed. It's hard to tell, but the way that it intersects with that top board, I had a hard time figuring that out, because normally you have soffit, but since I've done rafter tails, and it's a little different this system, you know. There's the Z-bar that sheds water between the sheets. You gotta have stuff like that. But in essence, I've just put these on a 1 foot spacing, and tried my best. This one's gonna suck because it's right up next to the window. Luckily it's the back of the house. But when you do this kind of thing, you gotta think about how it intersects with the window trim. Because if it's like right next to it, it just looks terrible in my opinion. But so many details. So now I'm gonna set you up just on time lapse and show you that gable end. Well, here's what I ended up with. My battery died on my phone, so I didn't get to show you. I've still got to clean up the bottoms there, but there's the finished product. I've also got a little bit of paint on the wall, testing out a color, testing out a product, all that stuff. I'm actually thinking about using the recycled paint they sell at like Habitat for Humanity store or whatever. I'm not so sure I'm gonna do that yet, but it's pretty good. I was honestly surprised, you know, by coverage, and just I've used so much paint, good, bad, ugly. It seems like it's pretty decent stuff. So I'm gonna test it out a little bit more, but that's what I've got done for today. Let me show you a little bit of detail. I kind of reconfigured the way I did this, put a little bit of a slant on that. I don't know if you can see it, but fancy stuff. Trying to shed water. I want to make sure I don't get any water intrusion, so I'll caulk that all real good with some good stuff and do what I do. I pieced these together. Some of them I'm not super happy with. I have to go back and kind of touch it up, but you know, it's the side of the house. I still got to cut off a few of these because some of them I kind of alternating, would go like a full piece, and then using my leftovers, just a few things like that. And I like that there are no real, I mean there's one right there kind of, but there's no real like nails to cover in terms of in the sheet. I guess this would be board and sheet, not board and batten, but, or excuse me, sheet and batten. I'll get it right. But anyway, that's what I've got done for today. So I think I'm gonna call this video done too, and I'm not finished with all the siding, but you know, do all that YouTube stuff. Please like and share and subscribe. Thanks.